we know each other from the enterprise Kanban coach trainings. And
Class from Klaus Leopold.
yes, and what I know from you is you have done a lot of transitions, or at least implementation projects where you start with teams, smaller and bigger teams, to set up Kanban boards, and to get them started.
Yes.
What are the principles that you apply there? So how does that work?
The main thing from my point of view is visualizing work is a key. Before that, everybody knows there is some working packages we have to do, and with implementing something more visual, everybody's getting on the hands. What are we doing?
Okay.
And that was key for me.
So these are the famous boards, correct? So
Yes.
boards, the keys. So what's next? So now you have everything visualized. What happens then?
Yes, then the people are going to work with that, and they also try to get better. How should we cut each user story in more shorter pieces or smaller pieces?
Okay.
That's what happened next.
Okay. So
In the first time they have been huge,
yeah.
and then what means huge? Do we need everything
Okay.
on this piece, or can we slice it more down to get fast some new value?
Okay. So value driven and focused on small priorities instead of going the whole way, like you implemented your agile.
Yes.
So instead of going all in, think about how you can slice work, how you can break it down into valuable and actionable pieces.
Something very important for me and from the customer was when we started to do more the agile way. We made our customers the opportunity to do it more agile, to getting faster things done. The first thing they said is, no, we do not need this. Okay, that's fine for me, but internally we changed it.
Okay.
And we said every 2 weeks we want to have some increments which could be used on the special environment, but they can use it. So the first time they got this, said nice. The second time we had some problems because we were just implementing and starting with all this kind of continuous delivery, so we got a problem, we couldn't deliver. And the emails I got was from a customer, when can we see the next increment? The same people who said first, we do not need this, really realized it's good to have this. So with doing something, the customer realized that's something positive, and I want more.
So it's not just about changing your own behavior and perception, but also the perception around you.
With changing our behavior, we change the behavior of the customer.
Yeah. So and this is great, correct?
Yes,
because his expectations matches with your idea of how you can create better value, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Yes. A lot of people always talk about principles and practices. So when it comes to your experience, what are the main principles, or what is behind an agile transformation or a Kanban implementation? What do you think? What are the main points that needs to be considered?
One special thing is, of course, start where you are. Though no one has to learn something special like in SAFe. SAFe is an example for me where you have to study books to getting into touch with what to do with SAFe. So with Kanban, so it's so smart that you start where you are, and that's a key for everyone, because everyone starts from some point of doing, and starting where you are. Everyone knows what this means, because you know where you are. Okay. So this is something very good for everyone to know it.
So value status quo.
Yes.
Okay.
And the other thing is, as I said, visualizing the work. So getting work in sticky notes or in cards. So you have your work in your hands. Okay. And that's quite powerful. Okay. And also, if you every time when I have a Kanban course, I'm making a task board, and I ask people, who wants to take this card to the next column. Just try this, because it's very it helps you to see we are going forward. So holding work into your hands and saying this is done, it's absolutely cool. I use for example I use Kanban for private Kanban, and I have a task board, and I'm using some kind of magnets, and I can paint, can write on them with a pencil, which is based on water. So if you put water on that, it goes away. On every Friday, I take all my cards and wash them, and it's something. It's so good to wash your work away.
Yeah, this does. I'm also using personal Kanban. I love this because this does something to yourself. So
Yes.
this is kind of look what you have achieved this week.
Yes.
But there's another component on this, and this is transparency. So everybody else also knows what you're doing, and they can link to you. So they
Yes.
know where you're working on. They can help or ask questions or understand how this is related to their work. Because I think one thing that have modern organizations is that everything is linked together. So everything has to
And
be.
you can see it.
Yeah, it's a complex word, and when
Yes.
you just put it on the wall, everybody has at least a link where you can start.
That's a good point. Always when teams come to me and they help us with Kanban, said try it with an analog one. Try it with a board.
Yeah,
Do not use digital things,
yeah,
because there you're limited. Just try the analog things and take it on your hands.
yeah.
And about principles or practices, something what's really a challenge for every team, really for every, is to limit their work.
Yeah.
Limiting is something we are not used to.
Yeah.
Never ever. We have always do this, or could you do this? Of course I can, but we are not used as a team. Our teams never used to, or the teams where I work with, they are not used to limit their work.
Yeah, and I think the mess behind that is we are so trained, or we are so programmed to not saying no. So we always say yes and yes and yes, and we think that this is helpful for our organizations and companies. But the honest truth is, not saying no is one of the biggest issues that we can do to our company.
The team where I work as an agility master, every time the product owner, we have this kind of role, who is the owner of the product, every time he comes and says, we have to do this now, I ask him, what of our other work we are doing could we put back to the backlog, because we have a limit.
Yeah.
So this is every time he's coming with this, he knows the answer. When he says the question, he also knows the answer. So this is, but you have to train that, to always getting, do not go over your limit.
Yeah, and it's not. I think the exercise is not just limiting. I think limiting is the one thing, but also focusing on the highest priorities. So what has the biggest value for your customer, and prioritize this. So instead of thinking about I have to say no to certain things, think about the main things that you want to say yes to. And I think this is much easier to think about that that issue of work in progress limits. In what are the main things that you want to prioritize and get ready for your customer.
The nice thing about transparency on a Kanban board is, if you say this is our limit, which kind of work should I do back to the backlog? Tell me. Everyone can see it. Which one? Or should we? Or is it is it our decision to do more as we have in our limit? It's also possible.
Yeah.
On the other side, it's like on the German Autobahn, there is a sign about 130. It doesn't mean everyone has to drive this kind of speed. You're also allowed to drive less.
Yes.
And it's also allowed to have less than your VIP limit in your doing.
Yes. And when in case of an emergency or police, they are also allowed to drive faster.
Yes.
Okay, so there are rules behind that. They are allowed to do that. So it's not just
And what I see
strict.
always or often is that we have many emergencies. The ambulance is currently hurry up.
Yeah, but at least my perspective, a lot of those are just felt emergencies. A lot of those are when you think 2 weeks later, they were just like, okay, we just did it, but it was not that urgent.
Who
as we
scream is
thought.
the loudest
Yeah.
will get his done faster.
Yes.
And if a team can say no and say this is our limit, we are not doing this now, it's amazing for the team.
So my learning is as those Kanban boards and Scrum boards and everything are focused on the value stream. So they try to show you where work is not moving. They point back or away from managing people, and they support managing work and systems and improve systems instead of complaining about people who do not work. We complain about systems that prevent working. And what's your experience in that?
Yes, it's a challenge to get all this to get this in flow. If you're talking with developers, every developer knows what a flow is, because when they're coding, they know, oh, now I'm at the flow. And that's a situation we want to have in on our board with our work. And to get this, if you have a team which is in flow, they know that. And if it feels not that you're in flow, you really realize that.
You feel that.
Yes.
It's kind of a mood that changes, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's mood is really the right word for that.
What I've learned is you need to observe, as you said. You need to value what's there, but in addition, you need to have kind of a motor in your system, which comes from continuously inspection and adaptation of the system, and retrospect and try to improve that. So I think one principle that I find very helpful or very important in that matter is to continuously ask yourself, how can we do things better? And
to experiment.
Yeah, of course. So the majority of those are not given, so you need to try and error and make the bits and pieces small enough. So just try something and see where you end. Or
And if you fail, you can learn.
yes,
If you don't fail, maybe you're good enough.
Yeah.
Or you did not try the maximum.
yeah, and it starts with always thinking of when you are on your daily business, always thinking about what am I doing and do I really need this process behind that?
What
it
happens
really
if
needed?
you do it the next time on the other side, or
Yeah.
the other right way?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's and also to be not to be afraid of doing something different as you're used to. Just try something different, and that's like implementing WIP limits, doing something different, what you are not used to, and inspect is it helpful or not. So cutting my finger, I don't want to do this, but yes, if it's obvious, if you see that this will hurt you, this will do not help, don't do it, please.
My experience, and I would love to have yours, but my experience is that a lot of people just concentrate on the methods and the tools. So they understand that there is something like Scrum, like Kanban, and the boards and the stickies, and
Safe.
I think this is very it's safe. Thank you. These are things that are very it's describable. It's somehow, this is the easy part, you know. It's not too complex to understand how Scrum works. But then there are people, and so what I learn more and more is that when you want to have deep change, so when you want to implement something in your organization, it's not the tools, it's not the method that you use. These are just translators. It's the principles that you need to apply, and it's the behaviors, it's the culture that you need to change. What's your experience in a very conservative and classic environment?
Changing the mindset is a challenge, because if you take the Agile Manifest, the first thing is that, we do not need, for example, to document things. The Agile Manifest doesn't say you do not have to document this. It says that document is not the key.
Yeah.
So some other things are more important.
Yeah.
And to get the between 0 and 1, there are many kind of different status you can have. And the challenge is that everyone knows when do I have to use what. And not only I use Scrum, and then if I use Scrum, everything is fine.